Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today I would like to do some drawing with you and show off a little bit more about my new book, You Can Draw Comic Book Characters. So I'm Spencer Brinkerhoff III. If you'd like to follow me on social media and see some of the artwork that I've been doing and sharing there, you can follow me at SpencerB3. If you'd like to draw along with us today and share those drawings and artwork on social media, be sure and use the hashtag DrawingIsSimple. So today I'm excited to talk about this book. So You Can Draw Comic Book Characters, my new book, 96 pages long. It's got 20 some odd characters in it, and I've been showing you how to draw some of the characters that are in the book. Now in the past we've done some videos talking about Captain Jinx Taggart, where there we are, centered. So Jinx is in the book, and both of these instructions are in the book, and I like to call this a phase 1 character design and then a phase 2. Phase 1, pretty straightforward, easy to draw, very simplified, very symmetrical, but kind of flat. Phase 2, more dynamic, and we actually used this one when we made it our own and learned how to draw the Mandalorian as well. So today what we're going to do is talk about one of the characters that's in the book but only has a dynamic character example in the book. So we're going to expand on some of the learning in the book and talk about this character, which is the S.A.V.A.G.E. So I have, when I start drawing, I always put down my DrawingIsSimple coin and I trace around that one, and then I lay everything out very flat, very symmetrical, so that when I start drawing, I'll know what the character is and know how the character works, and then I can add the dimensionality after I understand the phase 1 type of character. So with this, we want to really get into it today and draw the S.A.V.A.G.E. So let's go ahead and look over at the book really quick. So here we are. Oh, I got to adjust my camera. The S.A.V.A.G.E. is on the left, so I'm going to pull back a little bit. All right. So here is the S.A.V.A.G.E., and this is the way that it looks right in the book. You can see that we have the dimensional character. We jumped right in with drawing it, but what we want to do today is go more simplified. So we'll go through these steps and we're actually going to draw the character together. So let me move that out of the way and then zoom right down in on my drawing coin. Get this all oriented. I gotta adjust this camera. I apologize. I hope nobody gets motion sickness. All right. So first and foremost, I wanted to talk about the basics of how the characters work, right? So when you go to draw a character, I'm going to put my coin down and I'm going to draw a circle around that coin and then mark the guides. Now our basic character that we always draw, has, their 2 eyes and they're looking around and stuff like that. And they are 2 coins tall, like this. Something equivalent to this character. So that's our basic character is 2 coins tall. Well, S.A.V.A.G.E. is huge and we wanted to make him even bigger, so we're going to use the coins in a new way to make him even taller and stronger. Okay? Now before we get into this, let's talk a little bit about S.A.V.A.G.E. and his name. And to make this a little less boring on the drawing side, I'll bring this back in so we can see this as well. Ready? So S.A.V.A.G.E. S.A.V.A.G.E. is actually an acronym. I wanted to expand the character and do something fun with his name, but also take and have a little bit more meaning to it. And I gotta tell you, first and foremost, I'm not a Spanish speaker, but I wanted to do something with the Mexican masked wrestlers, the luchadores, and make this character be something exciting, right? So I talked to my friend Sean, and Sean suggested that I put a whole string of names together, and he says that sounds perfect because it's there's so many people that have really long names. So we're going to start, and I'm going to try this. Are we ready? Santo, Argozan, Verdanto, Abismo, Carrera, Egnio. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. So there are two Spanish words inside of his name that are there to just kind of like represent a little bit more about his character. So Santo, meaning saint, is like a title. So he's given himself this title. Now, if you read through the book, what you'll learn is that the Savage, he adopted the names of some of the greatest luchadores of all time in an attempt to be listed amongst them. So he's got a lizard mask. I'm going to butcher this one. La Jarita? Sorry, I said it wrong. I'm not going to try again. But when he puts on this mask, he transforms himself into the Savage. And those masked wrestlers that he adopted their names so that he could be like listed amongst them, these are their names. They're Argozan, Verdanto, Carrera, Ignacio. So this is Argozan, and I had to do a little bit of research to find him. I'm just going to go through and show just a little bit about them. So he's one of the most exciting and charismatic luchadores. He's been featured in films, and he really is pretty famous. And so our next guy is Verdanto, and he's I've got a little clip here I wanted to read. In one of the most shocking events in the history of Luchadama, a newcomer luchador from Colombia named Verdanto made it all the way to the semifinals at Luchadama 2018 before having to withdraw due to injury. So Verdanto is another one of the Mexican masked wrestlers that our Savage adopts his name. Now this guy is old school. His name is Salvador Carrera, Casada. So he actually went by the name Gory Carrera. And I don't know. This is the picture I found of him. I don't remember if he has a mask that he wears as well. But he is credited with some of the invention of the La de la Carrera, the camel clutch, and the Gory special. It's a backbreaker. Anyway, another famous luchadora. And the last one that makes up the name Savage is Ignacio. So with all of that taken care of, let's go ahead and let's start drawing our character of the Savage. Now, in this, let me see if I can get this a little bit closer. So what we're going to do with this time is, in the past, I've said that we can really use just about any coin to draw with, and that's true. But because we want to do a lot of detail and a lot of extra drawing, and he's a very like big character, we're going to use the coin in a pretty special way. So if you don't have your own Drawing is Simple coin, you can go over to DrawingIsSimple.com and you can learn a little bit about the history of the coin, and you can learn about the processes that I've gone through, and you can buy the coin there. Now, you don't need to have the coin to use the book and go through it. You can just use any coin there, but the drawing coin helps, and is specifically when we're drawing the Savage. So what we're going to do then is we're going to use every facet of the coin, and really it becomes like your very own connect the dots. So we'll go ahead and start this off. I don't know how many minutes we're in, and we're finally starting. We're going to start this off by drawing our circle, and because we will be doing some erasing, we're going to try and keep that circle fairly light. And before we move the coin out of the way, we're going to mark every single one of the guides around the coin. Now, this really is Drawing is Simple, but just because it's simple doesn't mean that we can't get, more advanced and do some complicated things with it as well. So here it is. We've now got our coin traced and drawn. We've got our circle made. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start by making some of these connection lines. So normally when we draw our characters, we make their eye line below the midway mark, and that makes them more cute, kind of like fun characters. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. But with him, we're going to take and draw a straight line across here. And this is going to be his jaw line. And then we're going to finish off his jaw by coming straight down and then curving so it connects with the bottom. So this, it doesn't need to be perfect that first time. We're drawing in pencil. We can erase and we plan on erasing, but that's our first line, is to create his jawline. Now we're going to start from this top left hash mark here and draw a line down, and this will help us to determine where his eye lines are going to be. So down on the left and the right, and then here, that is 3/4 of the way up the coin, we're going to draw a line straight across that connects those two lines, those two hash marks together. And that will be our eye line. And in our next step, we're going to go ahead and finish off the head by trimming it up. So he's got this nice big jaw, and with the jaw in place, we want to distinguish the difference between his jaw and his forehead by drawing a line straight down from that 3/4 up hash mark, and then we're going to come around the top and curve that on both the left and the right side. And now with that in place, we can go ahead and make his fins right across the top. Now, where you draw these is not exactly precise. I like to come into the line a little bit. Even though we do have a dot mark here, I want to draw a fin up and here, little drop, and then he's got triple fins on his head. So that is the top of the Savage. With those other guides in place, we can now make his eyes. So we're going to come up almost, not quite all the way to the middle of that, across there, and we're going to make a scooping circle across the bottom, and then do the same on the other side as well. It touches into that corner, and then you can see he's got lizard, you know, kind of our cat-shaped pointy irises. We're going to go ahead and use the line that we have there as a guide and make his iris lines as well. And just like that, we have, you know, his head done. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting, and utilizing the coin as both a measuring tool and a drawing tool. We're going to move our coin right back into place. We're going to take this top marker here, this top guide, and we're going to line that up with a bottom guide there. Now we're not drawing a circle all the way around. All I'm going to do is mark the midway mark on either side of the coin. Okay, we'll move that out of the way, and we'll see that what we do next is to connect those lines. So we'll come straight across and connect those lines, drawing lightly because I know that I'm going to make some adjustments and changes later. Now we're going to put the coin back. I've made these transparent so that we can see in the drawing where things are going, but we're going to move the coin and use it on both sides. We're going to take our top hash mark and we're going to line it up with the jaw line, the jaw mark here, and the bottom here, and we're going to mark the halfway point on the left side, and then we're going to move the coin over here and line it up to draw the halfway mark on that side as well. And with that in place, we can now go ahead and connect some more of these dots. We'll start with our left side, and then we're going to move across and down to that chest mark, and we'll do that on the other side as well. Remember, I talked about symmetry. It's going to be the same on both sides. Now remember when we put our coin down and we marked all the way around? Well, we have this mark here. It's getting hidden a little bit inside of our drawing, but we can still see it's right here. I'm going to come across, and there it is. That connects there, and like I said, connect the dots. It all comes together, and now the Savage is really starting to take form. We're going to take, and we're going to have to use our imagination a little bit to go ahead and say that this center line continues all the way down. See, it was right here that we had connected it. We're going to move that down to the bottom of that line, and now we're going to mark the 4 marks, a dash mark here and here, 2 at the bottom, 1 on either side. Those are 3/4 of the way down on the body. We'll move that coin out of the way, but clearly still visible for product placement. We're going to connect those dots together, and my drawing, you can see I kind of fudged in the lines a little bit. It's not straight, that's okay. We're going to draw it, and it's going to work out Oh, I'm going to draw a straight line down here, and I can see that there's an imaginary line that kind of connects those together. So this one will come down on this side, and instead of going all the way across, I'm just going to draw and connect to that stopping point. You see him taking shape already? So this hash mark here makes an imaginary line connecting there. We're not going to draw that line all the way across, but we can see from our instructions, which hand do I use? This one. From our instructions just above me here, that we're going to draw a line up from the legs and stop at that mark, stop at this mark, and then from these points on the shoulders, we're going to make his arms come all the way down to the bottom. Like that. This one's a little bit long. It's all right. It's drawn in pencil. So we're going to finish off some of the pieces to connect all of these dots together. We'll start by making his hands, because his hands can fill up a little bit more space in there and kind of crunch his feet a little. So just above this marker, we're going to make his hand come around like this and then connect to his armpit. And then do the same on this side, like that, and connect to the armpit. And then we're going to make little tiny feet, just triangles to make the toes. And then we're also going to connect those lines together. So he's got a nice broad stance, he's got a nice broad shoulders, and we'll finish this off by adding his tail. Now, the tail that we're using here on this character is smaller than the one that's in the book, but I mean, I'm not too terribly worried about the details. Did you see what I did just there? So as I was drawing, I took my pencil and started here, and I started to move all the way down, and I just lifted up my pencil, but kept it moving so I would know that those were still in alignment. So we have his tail drawn. We're going to draw some little scoops here at the top for some scales, some bumps, some ridges, some little details. We're going to go back to drawing our alphabet letters. We're going to make a W and add a U to it, and then make a W right below that. Do another one over here, just to add some little scale details. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, just randomly around in different places. And the last thing, oh, I can't believe I did this. Let me go back a little bit. It's not a big deal because I was just in the moment. But if we go back through our steps in the instructions above, you can see that when I got to this part, the drawing lines and the circles for the head were still there. And when I got to the next one, I had erased them in the instructions, but I was waiting till the very end to do all of my erasing. And so at the very end here, what I like to do is draw a little bit of an outline around the character to make him pop. And when I do that, I'm going to do some erasing as well. So I'll erase some of the details here in his head. Get that cleaned up a little bit. You can see that I've also erased some of these lines that connected the shoulders to the armpits, and then right down the middle, so he's got some nice strong pectoralis major, minor, muscles. They're muscles. The pecs are muscles. The pec pop of love, that's the rock. So we'll erase that a little bit, make some craziness over there, and then we'll go ahead and outline this to really make him pop off the page. So I don't outline every single thing. I look for the overlaps, and I say, okay, his jaw really is sticking out, and especially this upper lip here. So I want to make sure that that's outlined, and then we'll outline around the top of his head to make that darker. And then with his eyes, I might even come up a little bit and come in at an angle so that he can like Mrs. Potato Head said in Toy Story. I'm going to pack your angry eyes. So come around here just to make the character pop off the page a little bit more. We'll outline some of these major details. Oh, I forgot to erase by his feet. And then give him, round this up a little bit, add that detail in. And with that, we have completed our drawing of the Savage. Actually, not done yet. Remember to sign your work. I've been practicing that one. Well, with that, thank you all for joining us today, and didn't mean to do that. Thank you for joining us today to learn to draw the Savage. You can find this example. I'm going to try and post it online, as well as at Quarto Kids. I'm hoping that they'll be able to share it as well and have a download in there the same way that they did with the Jinx Tag It. So until next time, remember that drawing is simple and that you too can learn to draw comic book characters. Pick up my book. Check it out, grab the coin, use your own coins, draw with whatever you've got, and just keep on drawing. Thanks everybody, talk to you soon.